The film tells the story of four brothers who share no blood but share one home. They were children from difficult backgrounds, each with their own scars, taken in by a kind-hearted single woman named Evelyn Mercer. Evelyn loved her four adopted sons with all her heart until her final day. She never stopped caring for them, even though their lives had taken very different paths. One had completely turned his life around and become a successful businessman. Another was still trapped in the world of crime he once tried to escape. And the youngest lived a half-broken, half-glamorous life as a rock musician addicted to drugs. When Evelyn dies under mysterious circumstances, the four brothers reunite. As they uncover unsettling clues surrounding her death, they begin a relentless search, determined to expose the truth and bring her killer to justice. One mother, four sons, and a tragedy born from kindness. Four Brothers opens on a freezing winter morning in Detroit. A middle-aged woman named Evelyn Mercer walks into a small grocery store. She's kind, gentle, a social worker, known across her neighborhood as the mother of lost souls. Evelyn has spent her life taking in abandoned and troubled boys, kids who've been discarded by the system, and loving them as if they were her own. Among them, four stand apart. Her last, and perhaps her truest sons, Bobby, Angel, Jeremiah, and Jack Mercer. They share no blood, no color, no origin, but they share a mother, and that makes them brothers. Then tragedy strikes. In the very first act, Evelyn is gunned down during what seems to be a random robbery, a senseless act that, as the story unfolds, reveals a far darker design. 2. The Return. When pain turns men back into sons, her death brings the brothers home, back to the cold, cramped house where she saved them. Bobby, Mark Wahlberg, the eldest, hot-headed and reckless, once a feared street thug. Angel, Tyrese Gibson, a former Marine, quiet but deadly when provoked. Jeremiah, Andre Benjamin, the only one who made it out, a businessman trying to live straight. Jack Garrett Hedlund, the youngest, fragile, half rock star, half lost soul. Standing before their mother's portrait, these four men are no longer a thug, a soldier, a businessman, or an artist. They are simply sons, confused, grieving, broken. No one says it aloud, but they all know the truth. Their mother's death was no accident. 3. The First Clues. When the law isn't enough, the police call it a robbery gone wrong. But Bobby refuses to believe it. What kind of thief shoots an old woman and doesn't take a damn thing? So they begin their own investigation. Piece by piece, the puzzle forms. A terrified witness who won't speak. A local thug tied to Victor Sweet, Detroit's crime boss. A cop who knows too much and says too little. Slowly, the bitter truth surfaces. Evelyn was killed because she stood up to corruption. She spoke against the filth that ruled her city and paid for it with her life. When justice fails in the courtroom, the brothers decide to find it on the streets. 4. The Vengeance. When love turns into a bullet, what follows is a storm of action and emotion. The four brothers hunt, question, threaten, dragging every name and face connected to Evelyn's death into the light. They're no longer the sons she raised. They're wounded wolves, driven by rage and grief. Every frame of four brothers burns with both violence and vulnerability. The gunfights, the car chases, they're thrilling, yes. But behind every shot lies sorrow. In one haunting scene, the brothers sit around their mother's old dining table, once a place of laughter and warmth, now cold, silent, shadowed. Bobby. If Mom were alive, she'd hate what we're doing. Angel. Maybe. But she'd know it's the right thing. From that moment, vengeance becomes something more than anger. It becomes duty, redemption, and a promise to prove to the woman who saved them that her sons weren't lost causes after all. 5. when blood spills and pain becomes real. The film reaches its peak in a brutal gunfight amid a blizzard, snow and smoke, fire and frost, 4 men standing alone against a city's corruption. And then tragedy strikes again. Jack, the youngest, the softest, the dreamer, takes a bullet and falls. His death hits harder than any explosion. He was the weakest of them, but the one who loved their mother most. As Bobby, Angel, and Jeremiah carry his body home through the snow and the silence, the audience feels it. That deep, wordless grief. No music, no words, only the sound of footsteps crunching on ice, and the weight of everything they've lost. 6. The final confrontation. When justice returns from the cold. With the truth finally clear, the brothers face the man behind it all, Victor Sweet, a crime lord who hides behind wealth, fear, and power. But this isn't about money anymore. It's about a mother's memory and a promise that her son's made to the grave. The showdown is raw and primitive. No guns, no lawyers, just men, fists, and fury. In the end, Bobby drags Victor out onto the frozen lake, and justice, rough, dirty, but pure, is served in the most poetic way possible. No cheering, no victory speech, just snow, wind, and 3 brothers standing still, each of them carrying a piece of their mother's soul. 7. The end. When family isn't about blood, but about who stays in the final scene, the Mercer house glows once again. The brothers rebuild what's broken, fix the roof, shovel the snow, hang her picture back on the wall. Outside, Detroit is still cold, still dangerous, but inside that small home, something warm survives. Family isn't made by blood. It's made by love, and by the ones who stay when everything else falls apart. 4 Brothers ends not with triumph, but with peace. A fragile, hard-earned peace born from pain. It's not just a story of revenge. It's the story of 4 lost sons who finally learned what it means to be men, and what it costs to love someone enough to fight for their memory. What do you think about these facts? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.